All right, welcome to Horse Lessons, ladies and gentlemen. My name is J.R. Feland. This is my pal Weed. Today we're going to be talking about the lesson we've been giving our students this past week called forked rider versus rounded rider. Okay, so what are these terms? These are very Western terms, and I'm just going to tell you how they were explained it to me, and there's just a lot of principles that we can learn about this and how to help us be a better rider and help our horse perform better for us. Okay, so let's talk about forked rider first. A forked rider is a compliment. What that was term was used for back in the day is when cowboys would ride really punchy horses, right, and really bronky horses. A forked rider looked like he or she was forked right up on that horse, like they weren't moving nowhere. Nothing could get that cowboy or cowgirl off of that horse. So a forked rider is a compliment. A rounded rider is not so much a compliment. A rounded rider, how it was explained to me, is it kind of looks like you're an egg up on the top of a horse. And at any moment, you kind of look like you're gonna fall off of the horse. Okay, so you're probably interested in how do I become more of a forked rider? How do I get somebody to give me that kind of a compliment someday? Okay, I'm here to tell you, how do we do that? How do we be more of a forked rider? Okay, so a rounded, well, I guess we first of all have to kind of talk about what a rounded rider does. If a rounded rider feels like they're up on the top, but at any moment they're about to fall off, that means they're gonna kind of have their legs up like this, right? They're not gonna have their legs down, holding down like wet towels. As Sally Swift said, we'll give the credit to her. Sally Swift wrote a book called Centered Riding. Go check it out. But she said you should hold your legs like wet towels. A rounded rider kind of brings his or her heels up like this and kind of looks like they're sitting up on top of the horse like this. So a forked rider, you want to sit deep in the saddle, okay? Put your heels down, be really balanced and center, and let yourself be part of the horse. Sit deep into the horse. The next example, another Sally Swift example, is an example of a tree. And behind me, we've got some trees. You guys all know what trees look like, but the tree example is this to be a good forked rider. Of a tree, what we see of a tree is we see the trunk, we see the branches, and we see the limbs, right? That's only the one part of the tree that we see normally, right? But underneath the ground is where a big part of the tree is also, and that's the roots of the tree. So what she says is that below your belt line and down should all be roots on the horse and your body. These roots should intertangle and intertwine with one another. Above your belt buckle should be, or above your belt line, should be your the trunk of the tree and the limb and the branches. Now, a trunk and a limb and all that, they don't really move too much. And if I was to all of a sudden be doing a bunch of rocking with my horse and all this kind of stuff, that wouldn't be correct. You would then be more on the rounded rider kind of a thing. Your trunk needs to stay still like a trunk of a tree does and have relatively little movements, right? And stay, most of all, to stay balanced and to stay centered. Now below your belt line though is where everything's moving with the horse and you're connected with the horse. So I'm gonna ride a little bit and just try to kind of demonstrate this a little bit of how your body should move with the horse is what we're trying for. So I'm gonna go just for a little departure here. Do it at the post, the trot. Either way, what you're trying to do is be connected with your horse. Okay, we'll move into a lope departure. He's got to gather himself up, compress himself, and then explode forward, right? So that was the same thing I did with my body, is compress it, build up, and explode forward. Okay, now if we're gonna stop, a horse is gonna sit back like this. I kind of bounced a little bit up out of the saddle, so we're not perfect. Nobody is perfect. If you've joined this channel because you're looking to see a perfect rider, sorry, I only know one. We want to sit back, sit with the roots of the horse, and sit back and stop, right? So this is a great exercise to start thinking about. Forked rider versus rounded rider. Let's do a little right lead departure. Squeeze my butt cheeks kind of here, right? Kind of gather up here. This is where this gather goes for the lope. Gather and explode forward like what the horse would do. Make sure he gets the correct lead. Now with the lope, we're gonna really move with him, right? The trunk's trying to stay still. The trunk's trying to stay balanced. And below our belt is working and connected with the horse. Okay. The other way I've kind of heard this talking about too is kind of like a duck, right? A duck in the water. When you see a duck in the water, up on top of the water, the body looks pretty still. He ain't doing, it ain't looking like he's doing too much, right? But below the water, he's churning his little flippers like crazy, right? He's working hard. So down here, you're connected with the horse and moving with the horse down here. But up here, you're calm and still. Okay, I hope this lesson has been of value to you. My name is J.R. Feland at South Jordan Horse Lessons. If this has been of value, please like, subscribe, turn on your notifications. And if you want more content, come visit our website at southjordanhorselessons.com. Got a bunch of videos, bunch of curriculum on there that we'd love to share with you. All right, hey, thanks for watching.